We do have breaking news from North Carolina. New deaths being reported from flooding that was sparked by Hurricane Matthew. The governor just announced 17 people have now died since the storm unleashed a deluge on the state, and more than 2,000 people had to be rescued from high water. Major rivers in North Carolina are expected to be above flood stage through much of this week. And tonight, there's new fuel for concerns about Russia's possible attempts to influence Donald Trump in the U.S. election. Now appears that Trump repeated a false story that was essentially Russian propaganda in one of his latest attacks on Hillary Clinton. Our chief national correspondent, Jim Sciutto, is digging into this. And Jim, I've talked to Democrats who say, look, this was either him being in cahoots with Putin or this was gross negligence.
Right, or just a bad mistake. And to be fair, there have been thousands of emails released, many of them are authentic. This one looked like one of the most explosive, a seeming admission from the Clinton campaign that Benghazi was a damaging mistake, only that the words Donald Trump quoted came from someone else entirely, a journalist, in fact, in a totally different context, but that did not prevent the drama. It was the secret Clinton campaign communication that actually wasn't.
Here's an interesting one.
Here's Donald Trump reading what he said and what a Russian media outlet reported was an email to Hillary Clinton from longtime advisor Sidney Blumenthal regarding Benghazi.
Blumenthal writes a quote. This just came out a little while ago. Clinton was in charge of the State Department and it failed to protect the United States personnel at an American consulate in Libya. He meant Benghazi. If the GOP wants to raise that as a talking point against her, it is legitimate. In other words, he's now admitting that they could have done something about Benghazi.
In fact, those words were not Blumenthal's. They were text copied directly from a Newsweek story on Benghazi written by Kurt Eichenwald, who spoke to CNN this morning.
It is impossible to look at the Blumenthal email and not realize that this 10,000 words that follows are from Newsweek. They say Newsweek, Newsweek, Newsweek.
It is not clear why Trump has not explained why he seemed to be parroting false information that had only been published by Russian outlets. The email is one of thousands from Clinton staffers released by WikiLeaks in recent days. On Friday, the Department of Homeland Security publicly identified Russia as the likely culprit for the hacks of the DNC and other Democratic Party officials. Today, the White House vowed a proportional response, but did not say when or how. Hackers have also attempted to access the voter registration systems of some 20 states. 4 weeks to Election Day, 33 states have now asked for help protecting their voting systems. U.S. officials have yet to blame Russia for these hacks, but say they are consistent with Russian methods.
We deserve answers.
Still, the candidates sharply differed on that assessment at Sunday's debate, with Hillary Clinton saying Russia is trying to win the election for Trump.
We have never in the history of our country been in a situation where an adversary, a foreign power, is working so hard to influence the outcome of the election. And believe me, they're not doing it to get me elected. They're doing it to try to influence the election for Donald Trump.
And Trump, who has repeatedly praised Russia's leader, questioning that Russia is involved at all.
Well, she doesn't know if it's the Russians doing the hacking. Maybe there is no hacking, but they always blame Russia. And the reason they blame Russia is because they think they're trying to tarnish me with Russia.
As we reported, the White House says it will deliver a proportional response. I'm told proportional could mean economic or diplomatic responses, as well as something in cyberspace.
All right, well, we'll see. Jim Sciutto, thank you so much. And thank you so much for watching. Aaron Burnett Out Front starts right now.
Up front next, breaking news. Donald Trump raging tirade against Paul Ryan. All-out war in the GOP tonight. Who is sticking with Trump? Who is dumping him at this hour? Plus, Trump, in his own words, defending the convicted rapist Mike Tyson. Are more tapes of Trump about to drop? And hacked Clinton emails. New questions about what was happening behind the scenes for real at the Clinton campaign. Let's go out front. Good evening. I'm Erin Burnett. Out front tonight, the breaking news. Donald Trump declaring war in an unprecedented move. The Republican nominee now using his scorched earth strategy against his own party, leading to an all-out battle with top Republican leadership with 28 days to go. Trump with a new and angry Twitter storm tonight. Tweets filled with rage and resentment of the Republican lawmakers who have abandoned him in his campaign. He called the House Speaker Paul Ryan weak and ineffective today, and taking on John McCain, calling him the very foul-mouthed senator. Tweeting also about disloyal Republicans, more difficult than crooked Hillary, and declaring, quote, the shackles have been taken off me. The Wall Street Journal reporting late tonight that it's all part of a new Trump strategy to build up his base with nationalist themes. A brand new poll tonight shows Trump trailing Hillary Clinton by 9 points. Just before the debate, but after the lewd videotape of Trump surfaced, he was up behind by 11 points in the same poll, which shows the debate may have stemmed some of the bleeding for Trump. Just moments ago, President Obama spoke out for the first time about the Trump videotape.
You don't have to be a husband or a father to hear what we heard just a few days ago and say, that's not right. You just have to be a decent human being to say that's not right.
And right now, live pictures, Trump-Pence, a rally about to get underway in the crucial swing state of Florida. Sarah Marie is out front at that rally in Panama City Beach, Florida, where Donald Trump will appear. And Sarah, what do you expect to hear from him after this, the rage and anger we've seen on Twitter all day?
Well, Aaron, earlier today, a Trump aide was telling me that his focus tonight would be on Hillary Clinton, would be on her emails, would essentially be as painting her unfit to be commander-in-chief. But of course, we know Donald Trump, in fact, has spent much of the day training his fire on members of his own party. Declaring on Twitter that, quote, the shackles are off, Donald Trump began launching 140-character grenades today at the party that anointed him its nominee. In a day-long Twitter tirade, Trump tore into House Speaker Paul Ryan, Senator John McCain, and others who have rescinded their support. Disloyal R's are far more difficult than crooked Hillary, Trump tweeted. They come at you from all sides. They don't know how to win. I will teach them. Moments earlier, he wrote, the Dems have always proven to be far more loyal to each other than the Republicans. The brash billionaire saved much of his ammunition for Speaker Ryan, who told House Republicans Monday he will no longer defend Trump. That's after Access Hollywood footage showed Trump boasting that he can get away with touching women without their consent. It's hard to do well when Paul Ryan and others give zero support, Trump tweeted, adding, our very weak and ineffective leader, Paul Ryan, had a bad conference call where his members went wild at his disloyalty. Ryan's office simply said, Paul Ryan is focusing the next month on defeating Democrats, and all Republicans running for office should probably do the same. Even John McCain, who pulled his support for Trump Saturday, was a target. The very foul-mouthed Senator John McCain begged for my support during his primary, then dropped me over locker room remarks. Today's Twitter rage appeared tailor-made to shore up Trump's base after these inappropriate comments from 2005.
Just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Despite the all-out assault on his own party, Trump didn't hold back against his Democratic rival.
Crooked Hillary Clinton. Oh, she's crooked, folks. She's crooked as a $3 bill. I'd lock her up as right.
And in a radio interview, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie said he still backs Trump, but doesn't believe going after Bill Clinton's accusers was the best strategy.
He should have been much more direct and much more focused on just saying I'm sorry and only I'm sorry.
And as he faces an increasingly narrow path to victory, the billionaire businessman is insisting he'll fight till the end.
I may be limping across that finish line, but we're going to get across that finish line.
Now, Donald Trump's slash and burn strategy was certainly the kind of thing that was effective for him in the Republican primary, but it's made more awkward in the general election, especially when you consider that it was just yesterday that RNC Chairman Reince Priebus held a conference call with members of the RNC, insisting that the Republican National Committee and the Trump campaign are working hand in hand. And of course, Aaron, as you know, the RNC is not just responsible for helping to get the president elected, but they're responsible for helping Republicans win in all those down ballot races as well.
All right, Sarah, thank you very much. I want to go straight now to Washington, to Manu Raju, where Donald Trump is calling Paul Ryan weak, ineffective, promising now that the shackles are off. That's obviously striking home on Capitol Hill, where you spent your day, Manu. What are you hearing from Republican lawmakers about Trump?
Well, they're nervous about this fight, and the party right now is in self-preservation mode. I mean, each member who's running in a tough re-election is deciding how to deal with Donald Trump, whether that means sticking with Donald Trump, like Richard Burr in North Carolina in a very difficult race, says that he still supports Donald Trump, or running away from Donald Trump, like Kelly Ayotte in New Hampshire or Senator John McCain in Arizona. But the problem, Aaron, is that for a number of these senators and members in difficult races, is that they need those Donald Trump supporters, and they don't want to alienate them. Look at Joe Heck in Nevada in a very difficult race to win the Senate seat back for the Republicans over the weekend. He rescinded his endorsement, and what did he get? Backlash from Trump supporters. So this is a real challenge for the party going forward. Even if they do distance themselves from the nominee, they can face a lot of punishment at the polls, Aaron.
All right, Manu, thank you very much. And let's go straight now to Republican Congressman Trent Franks of Arizona joining me. And Congressman Franks, thank you for taking the time. Look, we just read some of them. Donald Trump lashing out in a stream of tweets against your party. Paul Ryan, very weak, ineffective. John McCain, a foul-mouthed senator. Those are the terms he's using. Do you agree with Mr. Trump?
Well, my message is that somehow, as a party, we have to clearly condemn the outrageous remarks that Donald Trump made, and yet also point out the difference between his words and Hillary Clinton's policies. The contrast is profound. I have the privilege of chairing the Constitution Subcommittee in the Congress, and I truly believe with all of my heart that if Mrs. Clinton is president, she will appoint Supreme Court justices to the court that will undermine the Constitution. And all Republican leadership needs to understand one thing. We took an oath before Almighty God to support and defend the Constitution. And if we let Hillary Clinton become president or do anything to allow that to happen, we abrogate that oath.
So, though, when you say to contrast his words with her policies, I just want to make sure I understand, what policies has she put forth that would support assault?
Well, the left has coarsened this culture in every way imaginable. You know, it's okay for adult men to walk into little girls' restrooms. It's okay to stand by with a golf club in your hand and watch ISIS sell little 6-year-old girls into slavery for 50 cents. It's okay to kill your unborn children or even your born children if it happens that way.
He talked about grabbing
and it's okay to marry your horse. But somehow when that manifests in a presidential campaign, all of a sudden the left feigns this outrage, and I think it's them that started in the first place.
But there's no feigning outrage. I'm sitting here as a journalist telling you it's pretty outrageous when someone talks about grabbing women's peas.
Of course it is.
Right? And you said it was, but you specifically juxtaposed that with her policies, and I just want to make it clear that there is no policy she has put forward that would...
Let me clear you one policy that here Donald Trump's words degraded and insulted women in the most flagrant possible way. And yet Hillary Clinton's policy is to allow the murder of 500,000 little tiny women every year. And if she becomes president, that could continue for God knows how long. That's a difference. It's a difference between degrading and insulting.
So you think her being pro-choice is equivalent to him grabbing women's genitals?
No, I think her standing by and supporting policies that allow abortion on demand for any reason or no reason throughout the 9 months of pregnancy, and she wants taxpayers to pay for it. And if that statement isn't accurate, why didn't she say so?
All right, Congressman, I appreciate your time. Congressman Trent Franks, as we said, from Arizona tonight.
Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it.
All right, David Gergen out front now, former presidential advisor to 4 presidents. David, look, you just heard Congressman Franks making a case, an equivalency that simply is not there. But let me ask you about what he's fundamentally defending, which is Donald Trump going nuclear. Effective? Donald Trump going nuclear, is it going to work?
It's going to work in one sense, and that is it will fire up his base and keep his base with him. But in the fundamental sense of trying to win an election, no, because it's not going to go beyond the base. And more importantly, he is effectively destroying a lot of Republicans. He's leaving carnage behind that we've never seen before in politics, and doing it quite purposefully. I think what we see increasingly is looking at him, looking inside what's going on inside him. It's like looking into a pit of a living volcano. volcano that's just sort of red hot and angry and boiling over. It's just sort of hellish fires that he's exposing here, and going after John McCain and the way he started that fight by saying McCain was, no hero because he got captured. It made him he was weak, and then going after Paul Ryan, the highest-ranking Republican. I mean, what we're watching here is just incredible destruction, pulling down the pillars of his own party. And basically, he started out by saying, listen, I don't need those damn people. I'll win on my own. And now he's turned around in this tweet storm and said, if I go down, basically, it's because of them. It's because they weren't loyal to me. Never questioning his own loyalty to them.
And which is a point you've been making. Meantime, Mike Pence here, in what actually, when we bring up John McCain, sort of a John McCain moment, trying to tamp it down at a town hall and say something just isn't right, isn't appropriate. Here he is when a woman says if Hillary Clinton wins, she wants to support an actual revolution today.
For me personally, if Hillary Clinton gets in, I'm ready for a revolution because we can't have her in.
Yeah, you don't say.
But I'm just saying it.
What do you make there of Mike Pence basically saying no, that's not what this is about?
Well, I think he is trying to play the responsible adult in this, and thank goodness he is. That was very important. Back when, you remember when John McCain ran with Sarah Palin, there were some pretty outrageous things being said about Barack Obama, and people really, there were sort of threats against him. And John McCain calmed those down. And I think he played a very responsible role. We need adults running us. Look, I think the country is embarrassed by what they see, but just look at it as a raw political matter. Donald Trump has been within striking distance in his campaign up until very recently. He's gone off on these rampages now. Since that first debate, he's had 1 week in which he got into a fight with Miss Universe, and all the things he had to say about Hillary and all the reasons about what he wanted to do for the country got lost in that debate. Now he's spending, from the second debate, he spent 3 days now, fighting with the Republican Party, and his message is not getting through. That is it is another striking part of this extraordinary campaign.
All right, David Gargan staying with us. And next, another tape tonight. Donald Trump talking about rape and Mike Tyson. You'll hear that. Plus, more hacked Clinton emails today. Trump charging they are proof that she is, in his words, unfit to run. And why does Donald Trump say things like this?
By the way, your daughter. She's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. Yeah.
Erin Burnett Out Front. Brought to you by Novo Nordisk. Millions are at risk of diabetes.